Coming up.
I hope that people could look at this the way that they at one point might have looked at Uber or Airbnb and thought, what? Staying in a stranger's house or getting in a stranger's car, selling tickets to a wedding? I hope that it soon one day becomes the new norm. And
Bold.
even before we got engaged, we joked about like, wouldn't it be so cool? Like we host events for business all the time. We're like, what if we just hosted an event and turned into this like rock concert festival that we just happen to be getting married at? People can go into debt over one day, and financial strain is the number one cause of conflict in a marriage. So I would love to solve that problem.
And there you are. It's so good to see you, Hidden Nation. Welcome to the studio. You got Josh Carey right here. It's your hidden entrepreneur. Hidden Nation, I am so giddy with creative excitement right now because of this very conversation. I've been connected to our guest for some years, but never like this because quite frankly, like this is unique and original. And as you'll see, it's the first time it's ever being done. Imagine if you can monetize your wedding. Wait a minute. What did he say? Did he say monetize his wedding? That's blasphemous. That's absurd. What if your wedding could be profitable? What if it can be more of an event with sponsors, pitch decks, media appearances, entertainment with names? Hidden Nation, this is fun and exciting and really taps into everything that I adore about entrepreneurship, the American dream, and creativity. Our guest is, of course, the content and marketing expert, otherwise known as Marley Jaxx. Marley, it's good to have you on the program and see you.
Oh, so good. And you heard it here first. This is the first podcast that I've been on to talk about this. So it's really fun that you're the first conversation.
I will take every bit of that. So you, some months ago online, I saw a post. We can get into the impetus of this, but you sort of tested the waters. You and Steve, who you're married to or getting married to, that's the whole point of this. You put out a post that said, well, what if we sort of monetized and sold tickets to our wedding? What the hell is this about? What is going on?
I know. And like just with that sentence, if there's no background story, people could be like, what the heck? Like that is so weird. That hasn't been done before. And that's also, I think, what is going to make it so intriguing for people to hear. And I hope that people could look at this the way that they at one point might have looked at Uber or Airbnb and thought, what? Staying in a stranger's house or getting in a stranger's car, selling tickets to a wedding? I hope that it soon one day becomes the new norm. Because for us, when we, like any newly engaged couple does, started to look for venues and florists and caterers and all the things, we started to find that as soon as you say the word wedding, they increase the price like 6 to 10 times.
No joke.
Like, yeah, like if you wanted a cake, it's like it's $100. Oh, if you want a wedding cake, it's thousands of dollars. Obviously, there's different sizes and quantities and things like that, but to be considerate of. But it just wedding pricing is crazy. And Stephen and I are marketers. We create content online. We love to do things that are different and unique.
Bold.
And even before we got engaged, we joked about like, wouldn't it be so cool? Like we host events for business all the time. We're like, what if we just hosted an event and turned into this like rock concert festival that we just happen to be getting married at? And we also get other businesses involved to be able to support them, because if you know Steve, or anyone listening that doesn't know Steve, if you look him up, Steve J. Larson, he has this movement called the Capitalist Pig, and we teach people to get rich and give back. And so this just totally fit under this umbrella to be able to disrupt the sleeping industry that is the wedding industry and turn it back to being about it takes a village. Because before it used to be, you know, grandma would make the food and the cousins would be the band and whatever. And now it's just, again, we are all for capitalism, but it also people can go into debt over one day, and financial strain is the number one cause of conflict in a marriage. So I would love to solve that problem.
I love how you've now are going to literally turn this into a business model. You're the first case study for yourself. And again, when you first posted this, I rolled up my sleeves. I responded. I said, I need to be part of this. I love everything about this. And I'm guessing not everybody feels the same way. Why do you think it's actually triggering to people?
Because it's never been done that way. Same thing with, if I give the Uber example, it's like, whoa, no, it's just different. And people have to wrap their mind around a new identity required and that they have to let go of to
Mm-hmm.
accept a new thing. And I can totally see where people can think, and I actually had a family member asked me, Marley, isn't this a money grab? Like, what are you doing? Please tell me this is some kind of a joke. And my response to that was, a money grab is when there is no value or experience provided in exchange. When people see this wedding, this event, this experience, and all the things that are created from it, you'll see that it's not just like, hey, come give me $200 and like I gave you a cheap meal and like, thanks, see you later. I'm going to go spend that on my house or something. Like, this isn't retirement money, too. Like, well, what we're creating. And I also hope that for couples that do this, and it's not for everyone, like, we are very entrepreneurial. We love to create experiences. We love to collaborate with other businesses. It like I had someone comment on a Facebook post the other day that they're like, this is the most normal thing for you because this is just you. But it won't be a good fit for everybody. But I hope that some people that have that like little entrepreneurial spark, that this is able to maybe after this, they're like, we love that. Let's start a business together. I think that couples doing business is a beautiful playground for growth.
Yeah, but here's the interesting thing. So your ticket price is what right now?
It's 200, and we're going to make it one. We first started thinking it was going to be $100. And it's funny, I first made a post saying, hypothetically,
Yeah,
how much would you assume that the ticket to a wedding would cost? And I was shocked that people in the comments were like $1,000. I was like, what?
yeah,
Which, first of all, for me, also makes me in my put my entrepreneurial hat on. What does the offer look like to provide $1,000 worth of value? Because when you provide $1,000 worth of value, I actually want people to think that it was 10 times the value of what they paid.
right.
So how do I give them $10,000 worth of value if they were going to pay 1,000? So with everything that we actually decided on, we made the price 200, but that also had to take into account the experience that we're creating, because obviously with building this kind of a wedding and all the aspects involved, there were more costs. There were more costs for the food, and for we're actually getting like a big name performer that's going to be there. And so, when you think about, if you were to spend a night out, to go to a concert, go to a dinner, maybe you'd be already spending $200. And here you're also in this environment and you're surrounded by friends and family that, or it's not meant to be a networking event, but there's going to be some pretty cool people there that entrepreneurs would be like, oh yeah, I
I'm
want
gonna
to
go
go
talk to them. Yeah.
talk to these people that are up for this idea because we love it too.
Here are two things I thought about the ticket price. I was one of the people that said 997, right?
Were
When you said
you?
how much would it
Okay,
be?
well,
Yeah.
tell me more.
I
This is
I
good market research, right?
yeah. I thought $1,000 because I didn't look at it as a wedding. I looked at it as a Marley Jaxx and a Stephen J. Larson 3-day event.
Mhm.
I've gone to multi-day events before.
Totally.
Isn't there a 997 ticket level that is there? I've seen it. I've paid for it. So I thought, well, I'm willing to pay 997 to immerse into this festival, into this
Mhm.
3-day event by people that I know and trust and know are going to over deliver to be part of. So why wouldn't it be that?
Yeah.
Secondly, I also thought you said $200. That's extremely fair because if I was just invited to your wedding, aren't I going to give you a gift in and around that price point? And was that sort of the basis for the
Yeah,
change
that
there?
that was one of my thoughts there too, because I think about, okay, if I go to a wedding, you typically, I don't know if this is like just an unwritten rule of, you typically want to cover the cost of what they fed you or the
Exactly.
experience.
Exactly.
So I thought, yeah, I would pay $100 to $200 for a gift per person. Um, so it's like, don't buy me a gift. I don't need another toaster. Let's just create this experience
That's right.
together.
And so the experience, review that with us for a minute. It's
Mhm.
every bit a festival. and
Mhm.
experience 3 days in
Yeah.
and around the act. So there actually will be an officiated wedding, I
Oh,
imagine.
yes. We are actually getting married at this. It's funny. People are like, are we have bets on if you're already married and you're just doing this after. Like, are you having a private ceremony that is
Right.
secret and then this is for, for the
Oh,
show?
yeah.
I was like, no, we're actually getting married. We're not currently married. It will be there.
Yeah.
So,
And we will bear witness to it.
mhm. Yep, absolutely.
So
So
day
yeah,
one.
so it's 3 days. The first day is actually like the pre-day. And I kind of joke about this when I talk about it, that I'm like, at this point, we will be married for exactly -1 day. So we're not the experts. We're bringing in the experts. We have Stacy and Paul Martino, who they have written incredible books on saving marriages. They're incredible entrepreneurs that do business and marriage together. So there's so much to learn from them. We have Alex and Katie Sharfin, who are speaking at the event, that they have been on a sabbatical from business for over a year, and they've been saying no to everything, but they said yes to this. And also, Alex Sharfin is marrying us. So that's really special for us. We all cried when we asked him. It was a really special moment. We have Matt and Carolee Ballard, who are incredible on nervous system regulation and conflict in relationship, and also like manifesting, vision, dream building as couples. And then Dr. Denham Slade, who is an attachment styles expert, that's going to be doing a session. And then also we're going to be doing a panel with both of our parents. So that'll be a kind of a fun session at that day.
Oh, it's adorable.
Yeah. And then in the evening, there will be the rehearsal dinner that people can come to and like mingle, hang out, see a little bit of the behind the scenes before the big day, which leads to then the next day, the big day, the wedding. Um, Beautiful ceremony. We will have an incredible dinner, and then there will be a performance that I'm not sure if we're going to tell people who's performing ahead of time or if it's just going to be a big surprise. We'll
Mhm.
see, to be determined. Open loop there. And then the day after is we're going to have a biohacking brunch. So we have world renowned biohacking expert Anthony DiClemente coming, and he's going to be doing some sessions with people. We have a brain function expert. He actually was just filming a documentary, and he's going to be bringing a lot of his tools and doing sessions on people to help them optimize their brain. And then we have some friends that they have this, it's like a $20,000 bio charger machine. Tony Robbins has one of these in
Oh,
every
yes.
one of his houses and brings it on the road with him. So everyone's going to be able to get sessions on that too, on top of a great brunch meal.
For
So think
$200. I am in. Yes.
some of those are add-ons,
Oh,
or it's the
fair.
VIP get everything experience.
Absolutely wonderful. You mentioned your parents, which brings me to the question. When you told your parents, your friends and family, were they all like, yes, this makes sense for you? Or were they quite the opposite?
Yeah, my parents were like, tell me more, what? They weren't outraged, like, no, you can't do that. But they were like, oh, interesting. I actually, from my parents, they haven't pushed back. I think they're just like, cool, we're not paying for it, so we'll see you there. And mom and dad got a coupon code. They get to come for free.
Yes, the
So
coupon code.
they're coming. But I did have family members that were like, that what? And then do we have to pay? And how are you doing this? And that was where the comment of like, isn't this a money grab? Or tell me this
Yeah.
is a.
Yeah.
So we just
Yes.
explained it, and I can also send the YouTube video to be like, here's the full story behind it. Because totally, if you don't hear the story and you just hear, because there have been articles of people who charged for their wedding, and if you just read that headline, it can totally sound like it's a money grab or people were greedy. That's not what this is at all. And the same thing for any kind of marketing product. If you don't understand the story and the why behind it, the demographic is never going to understand and care about the offer.
Can we talk for a minute about marketing? You are the expert very, very deliberately here. You also come from the acting world, which we have in common. How has that played a role in who you are today?
Um, I mean, I think it's just I have big ideas and go after big visions. And it's been really cool in this experience to, it's just like fostered that skill in me that Stephen has really reflected for me. And like, I've been, it's funny, we have like the different sides of the business that we run. He is very he's amazing at like, he can go into a cave and isolate and like be a beautiful mind on these whiteboards and be like, here's this thing. And for me, I like to create with people, networking and talking about, why I have this idea. What about this? Like, I get ideas from, I mean, even just you here saying like, well, I would have paid $9.97 for that. I'm like, okay, is there a $9.97 offer? I get to bounce ideas off of people. Or I talk to someone and they're like, can I sponsor the wedding? Can I do a brand integration with the wedding? So I find ideas through that. And so I think the background with marketing, with entertainment, with acting, it's, I don't know, you hear that saying of like, it's all who you know. And it's not about like getting the right, how do I word this? I love finding collaborations with people where it's a win-win. And part of what I've always done with acting and entertainment is just laying everything out on the table and having this like creative mind hive around it.
We have the exact same philosophy on that because I've said very same thing as an actor and filmmaker and performer. Even a one person show, there's dozens of people behind the scenes that
Absolutely.
could. So I love collaboration. I love community.
Mm-hmm.
Was
That's
there
so
ever was there a time that in your bold, I love the word bold as it relates to being creative, you find that that's especially in your world, that's a necessity, maybe not
mm.
deliberate, but you have to sort of, whether it's taking risks or be, are those the things that tend to work the best for you?
That's definitely my values. That's what I care about and what makes me feel alive. But that's me. And I know that other people have different values that, maybe they value predictability and safety and just like, this is my bubble and things don't change. And for me and for Steven, like we've talked about our values in our relationship is growth. And with growth also requires rapid um rapid deletion at times of previous mindsets or previous habits and activities. So I feel like it's just, yeah, it evolves for us. And we love, I mean, our podcast and a show that we're filming is called Rare Things. Like we want to live a rare life, and living a rare life requires rare perspectives, rare thoughts, and moves that not everyone is open to making. And sometimes you fail, and that's okay. But I have this delusional optimism that if something doesn't work out, I'm like, well, I'll figure it out.
Does that come from, years of quote unquote practice? Or
Mm.
did you always have, when things didn't work out or push back, did it ever sting?
Oh, totally. And it totally came from, as you said, years of practice, trial and error. And I think lots of therapy because as you know, as a child, you're growing up and it's like, here's, your parents give you this like safe space. It's like, here's the cushioned walls for you to run into. But at some point you get to an age where like those cushioned walls aren't there anymore and you got to figure it out on your own, and you fall flat on your face and it hurts. And then it's like, well, do I play small and it can hurt, or do I play big and it can still hurt, but which one actually just makes me feel more alive?
And it's the playing the big.
Yeah. And then again, with that delusional optimism of, I don't need, I don't need anyone's permission other than my own, my connection with God, Stephen, of course, being like my partner in life, that we want to do things together. But it, it's, I just want to be like full steam ahead and give it my all. My mom actually had this quote when I was young. She was like, did you put in a minimum of 100%? And I love that saying because it's just, I want to know at the end of the day that I left everything on the field.
Hmm. When you, my brand, the Hidden Entrepreneur, is based on spending a lifetime hiding my true
Mm.
talent and ability, everything that I was capable of achieving. Did you ever find yourself in a spot like that where you had to really self-assess and say, I haven't given this one my all?
Mhm. Totally, absolutely. And I feel like there's always still layers of that you think you're doing, like, oh, I'm here, but wait, you don't realize the beliefs that you haven't questioned, that you're like, maybe that's holding me back. Have I ever questioned why I believe what I believe and who I would be if I removed that part of my identity? That might have been a little deep track. Might have to think about that one a little more, process and journal that idea. But I as a kid, here's an example. I always wanted to make Hollywood movies. I mean, I have this picture behind me of when I went to Warner Brothers and got to hold an Oscar award and just dreamed of like imagine making movies and winning an Oscar award. But that doesn't happen to normal little, Canadian girls like me. And just believed that
The
because
belief.
that's the safe belief. And being with Stephen, an amazing reflector, mirror, and again, we said that our values are our growth. He kind of just questioned, like, why? Why not? Why not you? Why couldn't you do that? And then it made me question, why couldn't I do that? Maybe I could. Well, what would life look like if I actually pursued it? And so I try to keep that thought in my head for things that I say that I want to go after, and then imagine, well, what else could I go after if I gave myself the permission and the belief to do that?
It's so darn true. Everything we're talking about is our belief system that are the words and the phrases
Yeah.
we constantly tell ourselves. And then, as you reiterated before, has to be a level of self awareness for you to
Mhm.
take a step back and to say, well, wait a minute, why am I saying that? You have to even recognize that, oh, girls from Canada like me never can win an award. Belief, but you have to, right? And then it's like you have to start questioning that.
Mhm.
And that's what
Yeah.
you've been doing.
And when you have that belief of like, oh, I could, your actions follow and you start to say yes to things that your previous self who believed differently wouldn't have said yes to.
That in and of itself is the game of life. Is it not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
It's just knowing what is and is not possible, and really it's all possible. And the importance of, I'm guessing, your relationship and connection with Steven specifically has helped the collective whole within you guys.
Mhm. Yeah, because we can. Something that I love, and I feel like I only realized this recently, and we've both been married previously. We both learned
Oh,
from previous relationships of what we wanted in a relationship, and that choosing the right partner and being the right partner is, I think, what's going to set us up for success in this one. But where was I going with that? Oh, I love this thought that I realized recently of like being in a marriage, in a relationship, in a partnership really is the safety to trigger each other. That it's not that we're trying to avoid each other's hot spots or just serve each other in these ways. Like actually serving each other could be by encouraging the growth when it feels uncomfortable or saying the thing that can also maybe tug at some heartstrings or poke some buttons, but giving the safety in the sacred container that is the marriage that no one else needs to understand but you two to be able to grow through that. And before I used to think that it was like I have to make sure that they're happy and I have to be a certain person instead of like actually Stephen calls it, I love this, the proverbial weight room. Like we are in this weight room, we are lifting heavy things, it hurts, we are tearing ourselves apart to keep growing together. And that's the marriage that we want. Maybe it's not the same values for everyone else, but from day one we knew, and also again based on previous relationships, not just our previous marriages, but like friendships and bosses and work relationships, we wanted to have a foundation of we want to grow together, and we know that we have signed up for this lifestyle of growth, which means that we're going to need to keep re-meeting each other along the way. We keep dating each other because who
wow.
I am today and who he is today is not who we were even a year ago.
Absolutely beautiful. The Talk to me for a minute about the concept of insecurity. Do you battle with any of that, or are you on a better track from years past?
If anyone can say that they have no insecurities, I would love to meet them and like learn from how they do that. But no, I mean, I've definitely grown from, you said, from years past. I definitely am a more secure and confident person than previously. We're talking about something that's polarizing, selling tickets to a wedding. I don't think my previous self would have been able to handle the backlash, the possible arrows in the back
There you go.
for doing something like that. I used to have so much insecurity. If I got a negative comment on a YouTube video, it could bother me for hours. And now I can get a negative comment and understand that I'm capable enough to respond to that and have a conversation, and we can still disagree, and I can handle the disappointment that comes from that. I think a lot of people don't know how to handle disappointment, that they're not open to the idea and realize that they are a capable adult, and that disappointment doesn't have to be like shame and guilt and game over. It's like, okay, we didn't see eye to eye on that. You do you, I'll do me. And actually what I'm going to do is going to serve these people who it's meant for. Like, that saying of or the story of the Coast Guard, and how do you save these people? Well, you save the ones that are swimming towards you. And if you're trying to serve everyone, you will serve no one.
How do you get from there to here the insecurity of, let's say, people pleasing and caring what people think? Because that's such an inhibitor for so many people.
I think the way to get authority over that is to let it beat you down for a little bit. Like the only way out is through. The only way to actually experience that and really integrate that is experiential. Like, you can read all the books and maybe logically you can think, oh yeah, okay, well, I'll just be more confident. I just won't let that bother me. I'll have thick skin. Maybe that works for some people, but for me, I think I had to go through things experientially. I had to go through a painful divorce. I had to go through friendships that were torn apart and that were also just as heartbreaking as a relationship breakup. I had to go through business failures, had to go through public cancellation, in which I then made a documentary about. And it's like, well, if I can do that, I can do anything. It's the action that is the prerequisite to confidence.
Tell us before we part, what is the name of this video about the cancellation?
Yeah, so it's called I Got Canceled and I Did It to Myself. So it's on my YouTube channel. You can check it out there. And it won awards at film festivals. Some of the execs at Paramount saw it, and it was fantastic. And for people that go to watch it, I'll just say this: know that when we were creating this documentary, this happened live. Like, this, people that experienced it live, this actually happened. But then when you're watching the replay of it, there's a very big plot twist at the end. So that's my open loop to go watch it and just know that actually happened.
You are extraordinary. Leave us with this. Wrap up the message here in a nice bow for the listener. What do they need to hear as they go about their day?
I mean, I think the basis of what we're talking about here is like bold ideas, and to have the courage and the vision to go after bold ideas, even if it's uncomfortable. I like the saying of like, there's no growth in the comfort zone and no comfort in the growth zone. And that doesn't mean that we have to be masochists, but to enjoy the journey along the way and enjoy the journey of who you become along the way.
Amazing. Cart is open for the wedding. How often can you say that phrase, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about the few paths of domain names that exist for this event of a wedding.
It was really fun coming up with the domain names. So for our wedding, it's crashthepartywithstephenmarley.com. That was hard to come up with, but we got it. So crashthepartywithstephenmarley.com. You can go there to check out what tickets, what options we have available. And then to learn more about creating this, whether you're a bride or groom that wants to be able to monetize your wedding. And there's 3 different ways that people can monetize their wedding. Maybe there'll be more in the future, it's still evolving, but they can sell tickets, they can get brand deals and integrations, and they can do sponsorships. So there's different paths, because if they're like, I don't want to sell tickets, but could I do this? There's different ways. So that's weddingfunnels.com. And there's also a spot for people that have wedding businesses that they might want to integrate with this in different ways there too.
As you say, I do to revenue. That's why you're the marketing genius. Marley Jaxx, so wonderful to have this conversation with you. Thank you for this.
This was so fun. Thanks for being the first.